When I was a little girl, I had a very vivid imagination. My mom always said she never had to worry about entertaining me because I could do it all by myself. I mean, I could just play for hours on end with nothing but my imagination. But my imagination also got me in trouble one time. Here's the story. So when I was in kindergarten, my mom was a nurse and she worked nights. And one night after waving goodbye to her, she went to work. I was playing in the backyard and my dad was inside doing dishes. And he was watching me through the window. I had a jump rope and I had decided that this jump rope was my horse. And so I tied the horse jump rope concoction to our windmill that we had in our backyard. Because everybody knows you cannot just leave a horse out on its own. It will run away. So after that, tying it up, I decided I wanted to run up the slide on our swing set. So as I was running, my arm got caught in the loop of the horse jump rope tied to the windmill, and I flew backwards, crying out for help. And that's the last thing I remember until, I don't know, probably 10 minutes later. I'm laying on the couch, and my arm is propped up on a pillow, and it is the most lovely shade of bluish purple green you've ever seen. My dad is on the other side of the couch looking over at me on the telephone. And he was talking to my mom, and they had decided that, yes, I probably should be driven to the emergency room. And that I should also probably be waken up because if I was sleeping, that's probably not a good idea. And so we head to the emergency room. But before we leave, my dad asked, do you want a teddy bear before we go? And I said, yes, I want the brown teddy bear. Well, my dad was not the best, apparently not very good at colors. He brings me a tan teddy bear. Now, the teddy bear I had in my mind was brown and soft and kind of fluffy, good for hugging and propping your arm up. But the teddy bear he brought me was tan, and it was rock hard. I mean, definitely not what I picked out. But I was not in the mood to argue, so we get in the car and we go. It feels like it took us forever to get to the ER because Dallas traffic in the 90s was still horrible, just like it is today. So we get there, and we get checked in, we meet my mom and everything, and the x-ray machine is broken. Just broken. Of course it was broken on the day I was there. So we get in line, we get a bed and everything. There's, in ERs, there's no private rooms, so you're just separated from the people around you by a curtain. So there's this old lady on the other side of the curtain, and she is just complaining, like, all night long. It's so bad. It was annoying. I mean, I'm sure I did my share of complaining too because I had nothing to do. I mean, there were no TVs in the ER. We didn't think ahead to bring books. This was the 90s. There were no cell phones to play games or tablets on. Nothing. So, I mean, I probably was the annoying little 5-year-old girl next door, but, I mean, I wasn't complaining. I mean, we were probably just laughing, being silly. But this lady, all night, is just going, my hip, my hip. So finally, as only a 5-year-old girl in kindergarten can do, she says, Mom, that lady next door is a big baby. Well, my mom's face, I think, went about the darkest shade of red I've ever seen it go before. But you know what? That lady stopped complaining, and it was glorious. So finally, it was my turn to have my arm x-rayed. And I don't remember coming out. I remember going in, talking to the x-ray lady. I was all by myself, too, in kindergarten. And it was probably well after midnight. And I'm in kindergarten, way past my bedtime. So I remember going in, but I don't remember coming out. And then the next thing I remember is waking up at home in my bed with this hard, ugly, white cast on my arm. And that is how I broke my arm, because I had too big of an imagination. So yes, having imagination can be a good thing, but it can also get you into trouble.